everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Some Like Air, but Not Quite. I am one half of your illustrious hosts. This is Forrest, aka Jungle915 on Twitter as well as Insta, and I have here with me today.
What up, fam? It's your girl Key, also on Twitter at KeyOut23. Okay, hello.
Hi.
How's things? How have you been?
You know what? It's been interesting. I had like my birthday came and went.
Yes, happy solo return.
Yes. So that was cool. I mean, I didn't get a chance to do a whole lot because panorama.
Yeah.
But it was chill, and then I had a little bit of time off work. It's one of those weird things where I had the time, but it didn't feel as restful as it could. So I still feel like I need something else to kind of be able to do it, but it is what it is. It's going to be a minute, a little bit of a minute before I get some time off, unless I just happen to just say, F it, I'm taking it off, which may happen. We'll see.
It's like,
but the forecast is looking good. But other than that, aside from that, it's just been pretty chill, just kind of pushing through, trying to get things done. I have noticed a little bit of I don't know, a certain type of energy in the air where that kind of pushed me to kind of focus on my relationships, both my relationship with myself and my relationships with other people. Saying, yeah, you gotta water this garden. Actually, watering is not enough. Gotta add a little bit of mulch. Might need to feed that hoe. So that's in multiple ways. It's kind of coming up for me to do, and
makes sense.
So
I mean, Uranus cool, just moved out of your 7th house, so which is the house of relationships, and it's into your 8th. So it's kind of like now you're probably focused a bit on boundaries. So yeah. And
so that's a thing that happens.
Fun times.
But yes,
yeah.
Yes. How's everything going for you?
Pretty good. I started my new gig this week, and we had a chat about it before. I asked for when I was sort of trying to manifest what I wanted. I was like, I want a job that's challenging, but in a good way, and that I can do, and that's rewarding. And it is challenging. I was like, and you was just like, you know what I learned? Be careful what the fuck you ask for. And it's like, yeah, that's true. I'll have to be more mindful next time. Maybe I won't use the word challenging. Maybe, I don't know, fulfilling.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Enough so I won't bore myself to death, but it still takes care of all my needs.
Exactly. So yeah, now it'll be good. It's just I just got to learn sort of the processes, and everything's kind of like nitpicky at the moment, and so it's just remembering all the bits and pieces that need to be included, and then I'll be good to go. Other than that, yeah, just focusing on the parenting at the moment. So I'm doing the parenting course, and the biggest sort of tool I've received or learned so far is for any parents listening, that is and it's going to sound wild, but literally spend 10 minutes every day, like schedule it into your calendar, find the time, book it in. Spend 10 minutes of uninterrupted time with you and one of your kids, if you have multiples, so one at a time. And let that time be their time for you. No phones, no screens, just you and that child engaging, interacting, and allowing that child to choose whatever you guys do for that 10-minute period. And you will see a world of difference in behavior if you're struggling with any behavior.
That's not a bad look if you're dealing with just not children, but just in a relationship with another adult.
Absolutely.
To have
Absolutely.
like a check-in moment to say, or check in like 10 minutes, like, no, let's sit down, let's chop it up, let's really see where you are,
Hmm.
where your head at, how your day was, how everything's going, what's popping. You want to, hang out a little bit. Because adults get lonely too. They want to feel the warmth of your light as well.
Absolutely.
They want
Absolutely.
to
It's that
bathe in your
emotional connection.
glow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that emotional connection is so important for not just kids, yeah, like you said, like adults as well, and all of your relationships in that respect. So
Hmm.
yeah, that's my, and I know some parents listening to this, because I struggled with it as well, is like actually finding the time. And especially if you have multiple kids, especially if you're a single parent, like that shit's gonna be like, what do I do? How do I do this? You know what I mean? And I don't have like an answer. Because everyone's situation is specific to them. But all I can say is probably the most um, basic answer I would have for that is to just steal the time where you can, right? So instead of trying to book it in, and make it this time, it's like maybe it's bath time. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Maybe that's the time, and that way you're not actually booking it in. You're just sort of stealing that time through from the day. Or it's at breakfast, like if one kid gets up earlier, have them help you make breakfast, or no, not have them, but see if they want to help make breakfast, or just have a conversation with them, just spend the time with them, like mind, body, and soul connection. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that really helped. Like I did that with my kid, my oldest one, for 2 days in a row, and fam, he's a completely I was like, oh, he is not an asshole. Okay, this is this is great. I was the asshole. It was me. It's
You
been
know
me all
what?
along.
I think sometimes too, like, and obviously I've not had fair warning, I haven't had any kids, but I can just say from just dealing with just relationships in general, sometimes we drive ourselves crazy trying to figure out, well, what are we gonna do? What does it time look like? Whether like so much of the anxiety around it is figuring out, well, what's cool. Like it does take the pressure off to say, you choose what we do, you choose what game we play, you choose whatever,
Absolutely.
like you hang out, you. And because the thing about it is you can be concerned about, like, I'm thinking about a parent who has like not as many resources and things of that nature.
Hmm.
Your kid lives in your reality with you.
Yeah,
They know, oh, you can't take me to fucking like Disney World or some shit like that.
exactly.
They know the
Exactly.
simple shit around the house that they enjoy just hanging out with you. And that's building those moments with them. So they're gonna come up with shit that's attainable and that's fun for them. And you may be thinking like, look at this.
Right.
Okay.
Fam, the first day, Hunter was like, let's play Go Fish, that little game. And I was like, okay. Then he was like, let's make green jello. You know how simple it is to make jello. I was like,
Mhm.
that's fine. And then he was like, how much time we got left? And I was like, oh, about 7 minutes. And he was like, let's go clean my room. I said, wait a minute. What, you never want to clean up? What you mean? I didn't say shit. I was just like,
Mhm.
okay, let's
Yeah.
let's go.
And I mean, I can think about me as a kid, and for me, that's me getting to DJ the Saturday cleaning. Me
Ah,
getting to
yes.
pick the records. Like
You
I,
DJing, of course.
yeah, like that, that was a thing for me. Like that my mom was like, yeah, you know what?
Go
You
ahead.
can even pick the records.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Boom. Put this Gladys on. Say the overtime. That was a big
That's
five,
awesome.
4, 3, 2, 1. I don't.
I don't
That
know the
was my
song.
shit. You know it if you hear it, but yeah, say the
Probably.
overtime was my shit. I used to love that song. But yeah, no, it's real. It's one of those things that I am 40 and I remember that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's a fond memory of my childhood. Like,
Oh.
like Gladys Knight or Emotions record or Michael Jackson's Thriller, and the smell of potpourri and lemon pledge. Like all of that shit works together. It's a
I'm in
very pleasant
heaven.
memory. It's a very pleasant memory for me.
So all of
So
y'all
yeah.
just know, if you want to make Forrest happy, just send him some lemon pledge. Be good to go.
Do niggas even burn potpourri anymore? It's like that a thing. Because I
Ooh,
don't
you
really see
burned
the
it?
way. Well, you know what I'm saying. You put it in a deal. You put a candle under it, and it like
Oh
with the
yes,
potpourri?
yeah.
Do they still do that? Because I don't really see like
I
the
don't see it
packages of
anymore.
potpourri anymore. Like
Yeah,
I see candles and incense, but I don't really see potpourri like that.
I don't either. And you know what's funny? Because the potpourri we used to get tended to have mom used to get the eucalyptus ones like on
Mm-hmm.
the branches. So she didn't burn those. She would just put those and it would just smell. And these shits are like all around me now. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I could literally like go to the park and like do some snippings if I knew how to dry shit out. I guess you just hang it upside down until it dries. I don't know if there's like a special process for that, but
Listen,
yeah,
Google.
right. That's how I live my life. Google
Somebody
and
has a
YouTube.
YouTube video about it.
Exactly. Exactly. YouTube will teach you anything you need to know in life. That's how I learned how to edit videos. So
There you go.
yes, with Premiere Pro no less. I was like, God, this shit is intense. But cool. Yeah. So that's if any parents listening, that's my tip, or grandparents, or whatever. Yeah, that's my hot take on some parenting tactics.
There you go.
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good.
That I as a member of the non, child having people have co-opted for adult relationships. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so true. It's so true. A lot of what you
I'm
take.
out here jacking for beats.
Yeah, a lot. It's true though, because a lot of what you learn, or a lot of what I'm seeing, a lot of that what I'm learning for in the parenting skills is like, yeah, skills that you take across the board into the world beyond your children, into your intimate relationships, into your professional relationships, into your platonic and friendships and stuff like that. Like all of these things require a little bit of work, a little bit more work than we initially, or not we, I'll just speak from my perspective, and a little bit more work than I thought was necessary. You know what I mean? It's like, oh no, you have to maintain relationships. They don't just fucking blossom on their own.
You got to prune. I'm telling you, it's that gardening shit. You got to prune. Yep. You got to mulch. You got to feed that shit. You got to watch. You can't just.
Yeah.
Every relationship ain't a succulent.
Nope. No. Or a cactus. No.
You can't just sit and forget everything. The shit you gotta pay attention to.
Some of them shits is
real temperamental. Real fucking temperamental.
Mm-hmm. Some of them shits is like, oof, Lord. Okay, got it. Cool. Yes. All right. Well, yeah, that's it for me for the week. Just working and parenting.
Cool. You want to move into cosmic
shit? Yeah, I think the only thing I'll talk about cosmically that is probably the most approachable thing for everyone is that there is a grand trine in Earth happening at the moment. So we've got the sun in Virgo, we've got Pluto in Capricorn, and we've got Uranus in Taurus. So yeah, that whole energy, from my perspective anyway, because everyone's take is a little bit different, is about sort of bringing all of your manifestations together, and the energy that's around that, right? So there's also a grand trine in air. Ooh, interesting. As an air sign, I love it. So yeah, so like, for your
most of my shit is, which I didn't know.
Is it?
Remember, most of my shit is Libra. Like,
oh yeah,
it's like I'm a Virgo, but like everything else.
Yeah,
everything. No, I mean a lot of other shit in mine. It's a lot. There's a heavy slant on that Libra shit with mine.
You've got like, yeah, you're definitely heavy in cardinal air. But you've got quite a bit going on with water as well. So you're mostly air and water, which, how's that going? Are you okay?
It's hurricane season.
Because you would be like super intellectual, but like also super emotional. But I guess the Libra energy is okay, and that kind of helps balance, balance it out. Because I mean, like if any other air sign, I would seriously be worried about you with all that water. And yeah, because I've got like a lot of Scorpio placements, and I didn't know that until I started getting back into astrology. And it makes so much sense, because it's like I am emotional, but because I'm an Aquarian, I'm just like, nah, no, fuck that. I don't want to. We just gonna move on.
Too cool. Too cool. Ice cold.
No, it's more like I just try to rationalize it straight away without even feeling it. You know what I mean? Like the only thing that I think really broke me down was when my mother transitioned. That was the only time that I really sort of felt anything super intense. Other than that, it was just like anything else was just like, okay, I'm upset about it. All right, let's move on. I don't have time for this. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and when I was a kid or a teenager, it was wild. It was just emotions just up and down, like it was ridiculous. But yes, so sorry, I'll get back on track. Grand Trine in Earth. So looking at that sort of overall, it's about uniting your manifestation. So it's important to understand where that plays out for you, is where these things are in your specific houses. So like you've got a lot of Libra energy. So your Grand Trine is probably looking at sort of your spiritual faith and karma, your trust and boundaries, and also your emotional security. But you also have Virgo energy. And so that's also looking at sort of like your action plan of your kind of ego, your personal dreams, your love life, your education, your belief system. All of these things are looking to be sort of united in sort of what you're trying to achieve or what your manifestations are. And for you, I think, what did we say? Did it play out in your 12th, 4th, and 8th houses? So 12th, boom, spirituality. 4th, boom, emotional field. 8th, boom, boundaries. So it's just like, oh yeah, your shit is like on the money. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Whereas for me, mine plays out in the 2nd, 6th, and 10th houses. So mine is all about career, which is also very true for me at the moment, just because my focus is very career driven, and also career and legacy. And I can see how that plays out with my career and with parenting, right?
Sure.
Because legacy right now, part of my legacy anyway, is my parenting and how I help these kids become the people that they're meant to be without fucking them up too much. So if y'all want to contribute to their therapy fund, just let me know. I'll send you a I'm dead ass, man. I'm like, they're going to need it at some point.
Listen, everybody
does.
Exactly. That's the main solace you can take.
Exactly. So so that's what's happening in the thing. So have a look if you're listening and into astrology. If you're not, that's cool. But if you are, have a look at your chart and see kind of where these things are playing out, and whatever house these the Grand Trine is in, and activating. That's where you want to focus your energy at the moment.
Cool. All right.
Maybe one day I'll go through and tell everyone what each house actually means, because I know I only do like bits and pieces. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, and plus, we got to kind of look at based off of the time that we have in order to be able to accomplish everything. So
yeah, definitely.
That is that. Alrighty. So just kind of general happenings within the world. A few things that have gone on that I just kind of wanted to touch bases on, just so that we could kind of hit them. One that I just thought, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time, but just if you have not already checked it out, this is like a 30 for 30 / Fire Festival like documentary waiting to fucking happen. The saga of Bishop Sycamore, which just generally speaking, essentially was a high school in quotation marks,
air quotes,
that like convinced ESPN, the local ESPN, that like, we're good enough to like go up against one of the best, regular actual high schools in the country, and we're gonna like schedule a game. So like, let's gonna televise this. And when everybody saw the game, they were like, this shit looks, because motherfucker, first of all, they got washed by them actual high school kids. Like niggas got washed. They was getting carried off on stretchers and everything. And then when people were noticing when the helmets were coming off, these niggas look kind of old. Like, are we
Wow.
sure? And that just kind of led to questions and just it's a fucking onion of a story.
Yeah.
That every layer, it looks wild. Specifically, I would say, like, just aside from generally reading about the story, check the Complex interview that they had, like, with one of the actual players. He was one of the people that was actually a kid. He was like, yeah, you know, they recruited me and we thought this was a school. I got there and them niggas had us in the motel for like for like 3 months.
And no classes.
No school. School at all. We didn't even practice.
Right. Niggas, why you ain't go home?
we just showed up and went to games.
He thought that shit was fun.
Well, I think at a certain point it was stopped being fun because he was like, yo, we didn't have any food. Like, so we were stealing, we were like doing other shit. Like it, and he was like, and you got, I guess some of them were from Ohio, but some of them were people that they bust in from New York. So he's like, you got two different types of niggas that they are being forced here. You're making them hungry. It's a lot going on. Yeah. And I didn't want to like tell, you know, that kid logic is, I don't want to burden my parent with all of this when parents like, nigga, tell me so I can get you out immediately. Right. Please. Fucking, I'm not gonna, this is clearly not your fault. but yeah, I mean, he just goes through and really talks about how, like, essentially he lost a year of high school. Like, he was like, I had to do that whole like, it was like nothing happened. I was literally wasted a year of school there. So it's a wild story to read from that perspective. And then there was another one of the coaches who I don't know why you would get in front of the camera.
At this point,
it's like, let that shit ride. Like, my G. Exactly. But my favorite quote was like, we wasn't a school, see? We was a postgraduate football program.
Like I said, that was a mistake on the paperwork.
Sir.
I was like, wait a minute.
Sir.
Did you follow your talking points as they were laid out to you prior to this meeting? Like, and who's your PR guy? Like,
if you read the talking points, you should have looked at it. I'm not going out to say this shit. This is ridiculous. But yeah, it's just a wild story. It's a, you know, in a world full of like crazy shit that we're dealing with, which it gets darker from here. It's a delight. It's fucked up in a way, but it's also, you know, not so fucked up that you can't have a laugh at it.
Yeah. I mean, but I did watch a little bit of the clips from the football game they played against IMG? And apparently IMG is a high school that's got a very good football program, and it's hard for ESPN to even find schools to play them because they are so good. But Bishop Sycamore, like playing.
They like, it's like playing a fucking semi-pro team.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Bishop Sycamore was like, nah, we got this. And the commentators were just like, look, at this point, we're just concerned about safety.
Getting shot left and right.
It was terrible.
It was very much like the wreckage scratch. You're wondering how we got here.
Yep. I am looking forward to this film when it comes out because it has to.
Yeah,
it has.
I want to say like Kevin Hart, I guess said that he's trying to put something together.
Oh, really?
I don't know if he's the right person to tell that story, but we'll see.
I mean, the voiceover with him would be hilarious.
It could be. It could be. I'm not saying that it can't work, but no, I really want this to get like the full on like. The way like this needs like
I would like to see Dwayne Johnson in this because he's pretty funny these days.
Well, I don't think he's talking about like a
movie,
like a movie. I think
a documentary. No one wants a documentary. I mean, a documentary.
I do. I think that's gonna be lit.
I want dramatization.
I mean, we can. I think it could be both. We could do.
Probably.
We could do both.
Yeah, the Fire Festival documentary was pretty good. Because that shit was wild as well. But
yeah, it's just one of those deals that you watch where it's like, nigga. Really?
Yeah, but as a parent though, like, yeah, I would have been sick, knowing that my kid was in that situation. But I also would have hoped that my kid wouldn't have spent a whole year in that situation. Like my kid would have been like within a couple of weeks or a month, been like,
a couple of days,
a couple of hours, right? Something ain't right.
These niggas do not have a dormitory for us. This is not what a dormitory looks
like. Right, exactly. And I would be like, okay, I'm on my way. Don't worry.
I am in a red slipper inn. I do not think I'm belong here.
Right. I get Ma. What you think about this?
There's a nice lady named Flo. There's a lot of traffic in and out of her room. I don't know if this is
right. Exactly. Ma, they got us at 7-Eleven stealing shit. What is this?
It's 3 niggas in a room and they just only go down to people's cars.
What is this?
I think I do listen.
Exactly. Like, so a whole year of that. You know what I mean? Like, come on, kid. Oh, yeah. I don't know.
But kid logic, because he, like I said, he was the only one that was that young. Because he was like 14, 15. And everybody else around him was like 19, 20.
Yeah, okay. So, I could see a little bit of like, this shit's kind of cool. This shit's kind of fun, hanging out with all these old niggas until them old niggas got hungry and was like wilding out. They said, this shit is unsafe. This is, oh gosh, I couldn't imagine that.
That's a lot.
Anyway, all right. Well, we'll keep you guys posted on, I'll definitely be following that story to see if a documentary or film comes out.
Just because every time I see a new headline, it's entertaining as fuck. So next thing we saw, there was a new kind of quasi new development in the Afrika Bambaataa story. I don't know if we've talked about this on our show before, just because it's one of those things that happened like a while back. But there were allegations of sexual abuse that from Afrika Bambaataa, and essentially utilizing the Zulu Nation as a means of essentially kind of like what was happening with Penn State, with Sandusky, like just running through young boys. And it's a bad situation, obviously, because of how foundational Afrika Bambaataa is to the culture and the place of prominence that he held. But fuck that nigga. We don't care for predators around here. Like,
no, not at all.
Like it really is wild, but it's just it just really highlights. I mean, the initial story broke in 2016, so 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And he's facing a civil lawsuit from some of the survivors. And it's just really, highlighting how the tide is turned. I mean, we see kind of all of the information that we're getting out of the R. Kelly trial. And we're seeing just how, I guess, people are paying a bit more attention to it, I hope. Because, I mean, I know Drake caught like a lot of backlash from his new CD, Certified Lover Boy, where it was like, there's a song, I didn't even really catch it on some trail shit when I listened to it. Or else I would have pointed this out. But I listened to it on streaming, so I didn't see credits. But apparently he sampled somebody that's talking over R. Kelly's half on a baby. So because of that, you gotta throw R. Kelly some money. So in 2021, while R. Kelly is in the midst of a very like salacious trial, your new album pops up with R. Kelly in the credits. And I get song-wise, you didn't really actually collaborate with that nigga, but it's like, yo, if you wanted to capture homeboy saying shit, you're fucking Drake. You can get him to re-record it, not over half a baby. have on the baby. Like you,
Mm.
like to me, that's just it's an unforced error,
Yeah.
especially when Drake is in a weird territory. Like,
Is he? What's going on?
yeah, man, like some of the situations where like him texting back and forth with Millie Bobby Brown when she was like 14 and shit. Like,
Oh.
yeah, and it's not necessarily, I'm not calling him a servant, but just like this does not feel appropriate.
Mm.
There was like a video clip of him at a concert, and when he asked the girl how old she was, I think she said she was like 17, and he still kissed her. And it's just, and then it's just like real unsavory shit. Like, my G, I'm not saying that you right there at that fucking line, my nigga. You playing with fire. Like,
Yeah.
you playing with fire in a way that's gonna make people look at you sideways. And it's obviously, we're not talking like R. Kelly egregious or anything like that, because it's a spectrum. But I mean,
Mm.
if I already got that type of people kind of bringing those types of things up in reference to me, the last thing that I'm gonna do is willingly associate myself with R. Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at that and be like, we gotta credit that nigga. Well, then call the nigga who was talking.
Right.
40, send that nigga another beat.
Yeah.
Say that shit over that. That's how we fix that.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
the same thing over that. So we do not have to get, because I in 2021 would not want to see my name next to R. Kelly's
Mm.
on no shit. No,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
There's just too many other ways to get around it. So I say all of that to say, we try to keep the emphasis on survivors. We try to keep the emphasis on whatever they need
Absolutely.
in order to be healed and to be made whole. So my heart goes out to them. I hope that they get whatever that they can out of it, and I hope that there is peace at the end for them. And that's it. But as far as that nigga's concerned, yeah, I mean, your legacy is going to be what it is. Like, nobody's going to be able to take away from the fact that you were foundational to hip hop.
Mm.
But there's going to be an asterisk next to your name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same thing with Cosby. There's an asterisk next to your name.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Like, you are foundational. You did a lot. You accomplished a lot. But you also decided to be a fucking monster. So there it is.
You made your choice. You made your choice.
There it is. Last thing that I wanted to kind of bring up was Paramount Plus is doing a new reality competition show that has an interesting premise. We'll call it interesting.
Yeah.
So they're doing a show called The Activist, that's set to be hosted by Usher, Priyanka Chopra, and Juliana Huff. And essentially, the way the show is supposed to work is basically different people are competing against each other to do different, activism campaigns or charitable campaigns. And they're basically going to be competing for resources, and they'll be graded on like social media impact, maybe money raised, things of that nature. And I guess at the end of the show, somebody will be declared the activist. It feels like a very Apprentice type setup.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what in the Sean King fuck is happening here. Like, who thought this was a good idea? I just, I mean, some people are going after the capitalist aspect of it, and that's it. That's definitely an aspect for it. For me, it undermines activism in a couple of major ways. Number one, whenever you're looking into, whenever you're trying to get like an org or something like that started, one of the first things that people are asking about is like, yo, is this performative, or are you actually here for the people?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
This kind of makes it inherently performative.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because there's fame and there's all of that attached to it.
Well, it's a competition.
It's a competition.
So I'm trying to win. Like, you know what I mean?
Like, exactly. And then there's the aspect of when you're in the nonprofit space. The fact that, unfortunately, we do have different organizations competing for resources, but they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of the main things that you're fighting against in activism is scarcity mindset. Oh, we don't have money for this because this. And what, like, people kind of were bringing it up in their tweets. They're like, what are you supposed to tell somebody? You know what? Your campaign for children with cleft palates was heartwarming and touching, but you didn't get enough likes. So.
Right. Yeah. That's
The other one was a little bit and it's not like all of these things are important. I mean, and then of course there's just the notion of not activism but charity in general is a weird space anyway, because it's just so much of charity is like, is this a legitimate charity? Like, is this legit deal? And I'm just like, there are ways that you could have executed this that didn't have to be a competition show.
Yeah.
You could have very much done something along the lines of saying, hey, let's go from city to city. Let's find grassroots organizations. Let's find a celebrity from that town or that went to this high school or whatever, and let's connect them with people that are doing this. The show can be them going there, the person that's doing this grassroots organizing.
Yeah.
People highlight the work. They think they're getting the work highlighted, but then the celebrity shows up and they do like a big fundraiser, and then the show gives them some money. Like, there are ways that you can do this where it would
basically
be
the Food Network way of doing a show. Travel to city to city, try all the different food, try all the different organizations. You know.
Well, like
I think that would have been better.
Yeah, like the you know how they used to do the home makeover show,
the makeover shows.
They would find somebody who was really giving back, and then they make over their whole house.
Yeah,
and part of it would be part of, we're going to do this, but the main thing was like, you're somebody giving back to the community, so let's give you something.
Yeah,
it already exists as a genre.
Yeah,
it would have been easy to do that, but it's like, no, we're going to try to make it the fucking Apprentice, and it's like, really?
Yeah, it definitely,
nobody gained this shit on?
when you sent the link through, like, and I just looked at the headline and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this. Like, to me, what a way to cheapen it all. And even these, like, I think I saw someone commented under a post of it, something about Usher don't give a fuck. Like, as long as it's a check, he's just gonna show up.
And that's the thing, is he might think that he was signing up for something
amazing,
groundbreaking, and it's like, you're tarnishing your brand with that. And same thing with Priyanka Chopra. Didn't have a bad name in that regard. I mean, Usher's got issues.
Oh yeah, doesn't he? Yeah.
Well,
Priyanka Chopra, who is she?
She's married to Nick Jonas, but she's
is she from The Good Place?
No, that's
okay.
Jamila.
Oh yes, that's right. That's her name.
Yeah.
Priyanka Chopra. I don't know her. And who is Julianne Hough? What's her name?
Julianne Hough is from Dancing with the Stars.
I don't. Yeah. Okay.
She's had issues before. Because she was a white lady that did blackface
so many of them
to be. Well, I mean, she basically did blackface to be Crazy Eyes from Orange Is the New Black, and everybody was like,
okay.
I mean, you've seen that photo, like,
yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't have to. You just got to go. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
the hair was enough.
This one too. Yeah, the hair. It would have been. We would have caught it.
Outfit hair, you would have been good. Yeah.
The reference, but all of that to say, like, everybody's in a bad position. Like, I hope that the backlash is enough for them to say, let's take. I hope they haven't fully shot this shit yet. Like,
yeah, I know.
Let's take this shit and let's do something different.
Let's tweak it.
Yeah. This is not. This ain't working. This isn't testing well.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
Not a good look, definitely.
Just watching that was like, come on, man. Like, this is just not a good look in any way, shape, or form.
No.
But yeah, that's all I had for news stories. Was there anything else that we wanted to cover?
Um, what was it? The ivermectin making men sterile?
Oh, well, just yeah. Well,
Just
there
because
was
we
a
went
news.
so hard last time on ivermectin. This is like a small mini update.
Yes, many update. New study that's been performed that shows that 85% of men who are taking ivermectin, uh, yeah, it makes them sterile. So
Mm,
shooting blanks.
mm.
So
Children of men, here we come.
okay, maybe this is bad. Maybe this is God working in mysterious ways.
Perhaps. I mean, because especially when you couple that with what's going on in Texas in regard to the anti-abortion laws that have
Well,
just been. What happened?
yeah.
What happened? Because you're there, so you probably know.
Okay. So essentially, what happened is Texas passed this ridiculous bill that essentially says that no woman can get an abortion after 6 weeks, which, if you know anything about women's bodies, you don't know that you are pregnant until you've missed a period. And in most cases, that only gives you about a 2 week window, maybe, because most
Definitely.
women don't have like a set 28
Nope,
day cycle like that.
not at
It's
all.
not really a fucking
Not at
thing.
all. Not
So
at all.
that alone is fucked up. The most egregious part of it, well, the most egregious part of it, aside from that, is that it creates a system of bounties that says that people can sue anyone who aided and abetted a woman in getting an abortion,
Oh
which
yes, I
opens
did
up
see that. Yeah.
people to sue not just the providers, but you can sue like a fucking a Uber driver for taking a woman to the abortion clinic. Like it, so it does this. It's crazy in that regard. So they passed this bill. What would have normally happened in better times is that the Supreme Court would have looked at that and said, "This is clearly unconstitutional. No, you can't fucking do this."
Yeah.
But they didn't do it. They didn't step in. So essentially, they let it
Let
become
it
law.
run. Yeah.
And by letting it become law, it undermines Roe v. Wade in such a way that without overturning it, in Texas, you've basically overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yeah.
And that is on top of the threat to Roe v. Wade that's actually going to be argued in court, not from the shadow docket. That's the Mississippi case. But that one is set to do it to try to do a 15-week ban, like any abortions after 15 weeks.
Okay.
And that one, and their whole push is to say that we should completely overturn Roe. So that one is on the docket. It is set to come up, get argued this fall. So yeah, not looking great in that regard.
No.
We did however have some action, like the Department of Justice has sued the state of Texas. So there's a lot of movement there, and the executive branch has come out pretty strong in regards to supporting providers and supporting women in Texas. But it's just like, come on, man.
Why do we have to do this? Why are we going through this? This is
like, y'all clearly don't give a fuck. You want to make women have a baby,
you gotta go.
No. I was just trying to set the timer to make sure that we hit it.
Yes. Okay. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah. You want to make women have a baby, but Texas is also one of the states that refuses to let schools do mask mandates. So when they are born, you want to kill them with COVID.
Yeah.
You don't want to. Texas is one of the states that has barely used the funds that the CARES Act provides to give kids free lunch at school, because that's part of the thing that CARES Act did. It just said, here, we provided money in here where every kid that goes to school can just have free lunch.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to differentiate between the kids who have and have not, all of that.
Yeah.
Just give them all free lunch.
Yeah.
And that Texas is one of those places where there was a place there that said that they don't want the kids to get lazy to start filling the title. Children eating.
Wow.
So
where does this logic come from? Like, what the fuck?
White supremacist Jesus is a motherfucker. Like that nigga is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all of that to say is you clearly don't give a fuck about kids when they get here. You don't give a fuck about people having a livable wage so they can take care of kids. You just want to force people to do it. I mean, and really what it all goes, I mean, I'm not going to go down a tangent, but just what it all gets into is this whole white replacement thing. They just really want to make white women have babies because we know that, because when it was immigrant women in detention centers, they were sterilizing them without their consent. And when we saw the census numbers, and the white population was the only population that declined, and every other population of color increased.
Yep.
It is what it is.
You can see the correlation. Yeah. Interesting.
Yes. So
horrifying. Horrifyingly interesting.
Keep your eye out. I will drop one other quick note on that. When you are talking about the abortion ban in Texas and all of this shit, please, 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 for the love of God, resist the urge to relate it to brown people like the Taliban, and resist the urge to relate it to fictional things like Gilead, which is for those of you who don't watch The Handmaid's Tale. Mainly because the thing about what Margaret Atwood did with The Handmaid's Tale is she took a bunch of traumas that happened to women of color all over the world
that actually happened.
Yeah, like everything shit. Everything that you read in The Handmaid's Tale has actually happened to women of color, though, specifically.
Yes.
And she just projected it onto a white woman's body.
Yeah.
So
essentially,
a little bit problematic. Also, we're talking about America, and we have plenty of history with the state controlling bodily or denying bodily autonomy. It's called slavery. We've spent more time as a country with that shit than we have without it.
Yeah.
And Jim Crow. So you don't have to reference other countries or brown people or fictional books. You can just reference history, American history.
Right, exactly.
Shit happened here.
Yep, it surely did. Surely did.
So, yeah. So all of that's all I'll say on that. But aside from that, any other closing thoughts?
No, all good.
Okay. Last bit of closing thought, just because I do want to end on something a little bit more positive. Check out Yeba's album, Dawn. Beautiful, beautiful work. It is very much just into, I mean, it's not, I'm in fucking Florida, so it's not feeling very autumn here. It's fucking Florida. I'm in America's taint. But everywhere else, if you're cool enough, it's that type of vibe. It's a great record. Not a long listen, brilliantly put together. And it has that vibe. Pairs really well with the Cleo Soul album that I recommended like a couple of weeks back. But Yeba, Dawn, that shit is ill. It's
sweet. Yeah, I've been waiting for her to release her album. So yeah, I'll definitely check that out too.
Yep. Alrighty, that's all I got. Anything else?
All good.
All right, well, y'all, we appreciate you listening, and we'll be back next time.
Adios.
Peace.